What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we are going to be trying to pick back up where we left off on the Giants franchise, trying to keep things moving here so that we can hopefully make a nice playoff run. You guys can see we left off at 16-8 at the top of our division, with both the Diamondbacks and Dodgers sitting behind us at 14-11. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the month of May here and try to roll through some of these tough series that we have ahead of us and see if we can't come out the end of May still on top of this division. Obviously this can go a couple of different ways, but let's go ahead and start trying to push through it. So I went ahead and advanced here through a couple of series just to give you guys a quick update. We did lose this San Diego Padres series. We took 1 out of 4 games, but that is going to be a series loss for us. We took 2 games against the Dodgers again, so, doing really well against the Dodgers, who are the team that are hot on our heels. And then we took the last 2 games against Milwaukee. We now have a series against Colorado, St. Louis, Colorado again, we have the Padres, and then the Braves to finish out the month of May. And like I said, hopefully we can continue to hold on to the top of the division. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks are very good this year still, and they are competing. And the Padres aren't too far off. The Rockies are down there at the bottom, but honestly, if they got hot, they could start to fight for the division. So not an easy division by any means yet this year. And you guys can see as I sim through here, we just get this 3-game sweep against Colorado, which is absolutely going to help us. And so let's go ahead and push through the St. Louis series and see what happens simulation-wise with them. We get 1 win at the beginning and then 2 losses in a row. Hopefully we can finish out with a win, and we do. We finish out there with a win. Let's go ahead and sim through Colorado once again. Maybe they'll get a little bit of revenge on us since we swept them the first time through, and they do. So we sweep them once through, and then they sweep us the second time through. We obviously split against St. Louis, and that's going to put us in a tough position here at the end of the month. That actually is going to put us about 1 game back of the Padres, who are now hot and up at the top of the division. So Padres number 1, Dodgers number 2, we're a close third. Diamondbacks have fallen off a little bit, but not too far, and the Rockies have worked their way back to 500. So a tough division race right now. But we'll go ahead and finish out this month of May, and then we'll do some analysis of what's going on with the roster and see how things stand at that point. Alright guys, so we did take the series win against the Padres 2-1, and then we are going to take this series win against the Braves. Actually, we could potentially tie this series, so let's go ahead and sim through there, and then we're going to have the draft to execute on here in today's video, so I'll show you guys the outcome of the draft once we're done there, see who we get. But we did finish that month strong. We'll take a look at the standings here in a moment. Let's go ahead and see what happens in the draft. So we did actually end up here with one of the weaker draft classes that we have had in this franchise so far. Not a lot of a surprise because I did not put any detail into scouting this year, so it was completely up to the CPU. But beyond that, we were also picking 22nd or 23rd in the draft order, so we had a pretty late pick. With that being said, though, I do think we have a couple of players here with some potential. So we brought in, with our first round pick, Steven Kuwata, a starting pitcher here with C potential and 66 overall. This is a guy that might be able to help us sooner than later, if I'm being honest with you, because he is a 66 overall. He might be able to progress up to his C potential and get up there sooner rather than later. We also drafted Teddy Buell, starting pitcher, 63 overall with C potential. The next one that we drafted was an 18-year-old shortstop, Ronald Feliciano, and this is a guy that already has very good athleticism, very good ratings, honestly, if I had to say here, defensively especially, and his bat isn't that bad. This is a guy that might be able to quickly work his way up to the majors, even though his rating in terms of potential is a little bit low. We then also got Eric Rigdon. This is a guy that is a low 50 overall, decent athleticism and stuff like that, so this might be a guy that we just kind of stick down into the minor leagues, whether that be single A or double A. And then with our, 5th round pick, we got Johnny Hernandez. This guy was a B potential player as a starting pitcher, and he does have a little bit of upside. He's got pretty good velocity for a 60 overall player. And like I said, that B potential. He is 23 years old, so a little bit older, but not too much of an issue. And then with our final pick, we only had one player that we could possibly draft with this pick. So I just don't know if our scouts didn't discover enough guys or what happened. This was the only guy we could draft. It was Emmett Clemente. He does have that Clemente name, and he does have 99 velocity and 78 stamina, which is kind of crazy. So I might try to work with him to get him up through the minor leagues. But he's a 63 overall with D potential. So one of the weaker draft classes we've had so far, but we have a lot of prospects in this organization, so not much of a surprise that we're going to have a down year from time to time. So I did want to go ahead and finish out that Atlanta series. We did end up taking the series win 3-1 with this win here on the draft date. And with that being said, that actually puts us at 31 wins, which is tied with the Dodgers. Obviously, we have one more loss than they do, so we're a half game back. So while we have not kept the division lead, we are right there, a half game back of the Dodgers. If we get some crucial wins against this team late into the season, that could be massive for us and send us into basically a pennant race. You know, we could be in an opportunity here to win the NL West, and I think we have a very realistic possibility of doing that. Specifically speaking, I think we have 2 series here against the Dodgers late into the season. Here in the middle of September, we have a 3-game series against the Dodgers, and then we have another series against the Dodgers at the end of September, kind of flooding over here into October. That might be kind of a turning point for our season. Obviously, that's going to be a race at that point. The Mets are a very good team, only 24-25 right now, but the San Diego Padres, also another very good team. We're going to have a tough time finishing out this season, but I really do think that this team can do it with the position that we've put ourselves in. From the pitching rotation, I did just kind of want to run through their ERAs. So Logan Webb at 5-5 has a 2.57 ERA, which is pretty good. We have Tyler Beede with a 2.54 ERA, who has pretty much repeated his performance from last season. We have Jojo Romero with a 3.86 and a 3-2 record, as well as Sean Yelly, who has a 4.95 ERA. And, he's kind of been, a tested out type of prospect, but a guy that, just recently came up, so I'm not expecting him to be lights out right away. And then Connor Menez with a 3.33 ERA. Caleb Berriger does have 17 saves to this point in the season. He only has that one blown save that came from much earlier in the season. So really good performances from him so far, and I think really from a lot of our bullpen, we've gotten very good production. A couple of guys that are maybe a little bit underwhelming, but most of these guys have relatively good stats across the board, so nothing to complain from in terms of our bullpen. And to be honest with you, I think that we are going to be looking to add to this team at the trade deadline. Now, I don't know what that's going to look like. Obviously, from the roster perspective, the last time through, we took a look at adding Randy Arozarena, and he's not doing so hot for us right now, obviously. He's batting 195, kind of below that line. So, we might look to move on from him. We might look to bring somebody up from our farm system. We're going to have to do some analysis here and see who's worth bringing in the next month or so, and who's worth bringing up and things like that. Arozarena might be somebody that could find some success on another team. But certainly some things to look at here for the team. And, despite, down performances from guys like Arozarena and whatnot, we've been getting really solid production from the team, a lot of wins and whatnot, and so I'm happy with where we've put ourselves. And specifically on that note, now that I get a chance to take a look at it, it might be time to call Joe Adell up. He is batting .331 down there in the minor leagues. It's now up to 73 overall. It might be time to bring him up. Might be time to deal away Randy Arozarena, maybe for a bullpen arm, or maybe a lights-out starting pitcher on a team that's struggling and looking to sell somebody. We'll see what happens with that. We also have Elliot Ramos here, who's lighting it up down there in the minor leagues, and a guy that I think would do really well up here in the majors. So a couple of guys in the outfield that I know could add some value to this team as we go ahead and continue to make this push to win our division. There are a couple of performances here that I do actually want to highlight with this team really quick. One of those being Joey Bart, who is batting .327 for the team this year in 110 at-bats. So He is literally splitting time 1-for-1 with Buster Posey. Both of them have had 110 at-bats. But the thing that I want to point out here is that they both have the exact same batting average at this point in their career. So, maybe Joey Bart is the man to take over at catcher. We do have Patrick Bailey down here doing pretty well in AAA. And so, Buster Posey is down to about an 82 overall at this point. Maybe it's going to be the year that he chooses to retire or chooses to move on or something of that nature. And if that's the case, I think I'd be pretty happy with Joey Bart or Patrick Bailey taking over at catcher. Now, the next one that I wanted to highlight, and really one of the only ones that I wanted to highlight here, is the performance of Marco Luciano. And actually, there's one more after this, but Marco Luciano batting .220, not terrible, but also not great. We would like to see more out of him. He is still young at 20 years old, but we do need to get his bat going a little bit. The one that I do want to highlight from a positive perspective is Jacob Gonzalez, who, for whatever reason is kind of losing out reps right now to Blaze Jordan. Blaze Jordan, I'm going to have to probably focus on manually taking him out of the lineup a little bit more, but Jacob Gonzalez batting .295. And so realistically, we're going into the month of June here. Obviously, we have the entire month of June and then the month of July before we need to finish out any trade discussions or anything like that. We also have time for these guys to bounce back in terms of their performance. But I do want to open up some of those discussions and point out to you guys some of those players that I'm thinking about calling up. That way, if we do decide in the next video to call some guys up or make some moves to really flesh out this opportunity for a division lead, then you guys will know what's going on. So, probably a relatively quick video here today, all things considered. Hopefully you guys at least enjoyed seeing the update and enjoyed seeing us sim through the month of May. But we will be pushing more into the month of June and July, where things are going to be mattering a little bit more and a little bit more serious. So, look forward to that, and that'll be in the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a good one. If you do enjoy this franchise and want to see it keep going, make sure you leave a like on the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'll see you guys in the next one, and hope you guys have a good day.